Because we hear Donald Rumsfeld talking about a war unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Well, it sounds like they certainly intend everybody to think it's coming. I've learned to wait a little and find out what does come when it's there, but they're certainly dropping large hints that there is more to come, and it's a much bigger operation than the one we've seen so far. So, I mean, and I think that what we're seeing today wasn't intended to happen today. I mean, all the indications are that this was probably going to happen a day later. Or even 2 days later, and it was brought forward because Iraq attacked the forces, the American forces in the desert. They were vulnerable, they were worried they'd come under chemical attack, and so they decided that they would pull things up and move fast. And I think perhaps the Turkish decision today to allow overflights, now they may be already in operation as a result, and they were sitting down to negotiate it the moment the parliament finished. Now that has effectively opened a window into Iraq from the north, which means a great deal more attacks can be carried out by aircraft over a much larger slice of the country. So I think that has encouraged them to go faster.
And do you think an encouragement might also be provided by this sense that Turkish forces are moving into northern Iraq? Is that, do you think, a worry for them?
I think it's a definite worry for them. I think they would much prefer that if Turkish forces came in, they want them to attack the Iraqis. What they don't want them to do is stamp around in the Kurdish area in the north, where they're liable to cause far more trouble and start fighting between the Kurds and the Turks, which is something the Americans may have to intervene to try and stop. It's a complication they could do without. There's one other thing going on at the moment which hasn't been mentioned, which is that we know that out in the western desert is the area where they're most worried about floods, the area on the border leading up to Jordan, which is in range of Israel. They're worried that there are missiles there which could be fired at Israel. And one of the guarantees that's been handed privately to Israel is that as soon as this started, special forces would scour that desert and they would push back anything that was within range of Israel, so Israel wouldn't be attacked. A very difficult thing to do. It's very hard to find these things in the desert if they exist. But certainly the one thing we can be sure of is that the special forces will have been in that desert and will have started operations openly today to make sure if there's anything that is within range of Israel and could attack Israel and draw Israel into this war and complicate the whole business, the special forces will be determined to take it out as soon as possible.
Although it sounds as if, like, the Patriot batteries have had a better day today than they had in '91 in the last war, when they didn't seem to stop any incoming Scuds.
Well, they claim they've got two. Now, whether they were Scuds or whether they were something else, we're not sure. But yes, the Patriots do seem to be proving their worth, and that probably is of some consolation to Israel. But I still think they would prefer to stop these things being fired, because the risk of a chemical attack or a biological attack on Israel is so huge that I really don't think they want to live with it.
Brian, much more from you later, but for now, many thanks.
Well, let me take you straight back to Baghdad and show you the scene live there just now, because, of course, we've seen those cruise missile attacks on the centre of Baghdad. The all clear, of course, has now been sounded, and very interesting words from the Pentagon. We were hearing from Nick Charles that we are trying to maintain tactical supplies, but you've not begun to see the magnitude of what is planned. That's the latest.
Southern Iraq is under attack, and not just from the air. The ground war has also begun in a huge assault that the Pentagon hopes will shock and awe the Iraqi forces into submission. In the past 2 hours, Baghdad has come under attack from fighter planes and cruise missiles. Hello, I'm Kirsty Lang with the international news on BBC4 in the UK and on BBC World around the globe. The first phase of the American-led ground war has begun.